Oh, yes.
There we go.
First
Wow.
technical challenge.
So let me actually start right now. Uh, so as Tracy said, this is May 24, the day we will be hosting microservices visionary. So I know all of people who actually in the past, they know how we're actually doing it in the previous version. This time we wanted to make it a more outreachy way. Like we wanted to make a CFP open. People can fill this up, submit their talk they wanted to deliver, and then we basically find an avenue how to host it. So I wanted it to be run it on the YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn live stream, and most probably around 4 hours, 3.5 hours, and 30-minute or 20-minute break. So basically, is we have one opening and one closing keynote, two lightning talk, and then we have one workshop and four solo talks. That's already added in the agenda. That's currently, if you look at the flow of the event, I added a section, one opening and one closing keynote, two lightning talk of 5 minutes, four solo talks of 20 minutes, 3% panel talk of 30 minutes, and one workshop. So it's mostly around 4 hours, less than and not beyond 4 hours. It's something around 4 hours. Now I think if that is actually our flow, then we need to figure it out what are the list of activities, because we need more people to do this time as well. So first thing first, I'm actually exploring the Sessionize. So Sessionize has a free version that's luckily we can use. So, but it has some limit associated with it. So when you have a paid version of Sessionize, it's not a limit how many people can submit a CFP, but they have some limits. If you run a free event in Sessionize, then basically you can actually use Sessionize to fill in the CFPs. So I can share my screenshot, but I'm actually exploring today and for the last 2 days how the things work. So this is basically, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. This is basically a Sessionize account. If you want to do a talk, this is basically a flow. You can write a title of your talk, do a description. I think you can do it only 1,000 word, 1,000 word. Then you pick up a format. Our format look like similar: lightning, session, and workshop. And one should be a panel talk as well. Then we set up a track. There I need some ideas from all of you. Like, what are the agenda? What should be the motive of this microservices visionary? Either we do it in DevOps, supply chain security, vulnerability scanning. We need to define a track. Then we have a level and then language. I think these four fields are most important. I'm actually exploring currently. We can use this approach so people can submit a CFP. But there are some limitation to this. This cannot be actually visible in the search engines when you use a free version. So basically, it's up to the community. They can share this link to the person or the people they know. That's one thing we need to consider if we're using the Sessionize for the free version. Tracy, what's your thought? Because that's a super important to set it up Sessionize correctly.
I think for now, we just go ahead and use the free version and see how it goes. We could look to see what the cost would be for having a, can everybody hear me okay? I think my.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's gonna be better.
Yeah.
So yes, let's just do the free version. I think there's ways that we could probably kind of curate speakers, and by getting it out and doing some outreach. I participated in the CDCon speaker selection, and I have there were probably 100 that didn't get accepted. I was going to ask Roxanne if I could reach out to some of those folks, maybe on LinkedIn. I don't have their emails, but we could reach out to them on LinkedIn and ask them if they'd like to record their talk for us. So I think there's ways that we can get some folks in the door, but let's start slow and let's just. Do you have any idea what the cost is for the pro version?
I believe, yes, I think around Not much, but still a costly. Like if I go to the paid version, let me go
Yeah, if we're
where.
talking about a couple $100, we probably would go ahead and upgrade, but if it's a couple $100 a month, we wouldn't for one
Yeah.
event.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's around $60, 25, 45, something around on the line. But we
Per
definitely check.
month.
But yes, I believe. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we need only for a month. So let me give you some dares based
Yeah, why don't
on.
you, let's take that offline. Why don't you do some looking into it and see what it would cost if we have to sign up for a full year, or we can do it for 3 or 4 months, and then we'll go through there. Oh my goodness, Nitu, hello. How good to see you. It's
Hi.
fabulous. Nitu,
Today's
we
a
miss
holiday,
you.
so off at work, so Happy New Year. Nice to see you all.
It's great to see you.
So
So
I
let's back
just,
up. So let's back up. So we'll worry about if it's going to be the paid or the free. Let's just assume we're going to do the free. We're going to have to do some outreach to our network. Let's back
the,
up for a minute and let's go back all the way to the very beginning and let's look at the schedule again. And I want us to think about what the name should be. You know, I just came up with Microservice Visionary Summit, and that was almost 3 years ago. But we don't have to keep it that name.
Yes.
Is there another name that we might want to use that is more appropriate for what we are up to today?
Yes, I think that would be a collaborative call for everyone. There are some names we can use. I think currently, if you look at the ecosystem, a lot of the conferences using if the conference happening on the platform stuff for the platform engineers, so there's a word associated with the front that's called platform, and then you can change the other version. If you do in the supply chain security, I believe there is some opinionated name in there with the different conferences. I think most probably in this OpenSSF side, there's a supply chain thing that can use in the conferences. But definitely we need to figure it out, the good name for it, because microservices visionary is not that of a reflective.
No, and it's awfully big too.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful. It's a
So we
mouthful.
need to, I think, ask, who are we trying to appeal to?
That's a great
Yes.
question. And and I know the answer to that. There are two groups that we really need to appeal to, but one in particular. In so many calls that I have on the OpenSSF side and the CDF side, when the discussion is around security, the question we always get is people complain that there's so much out there about standards and tooling, but there's no good education around how to implement. Steve did a talk at OpenSSF last year, and he got the highest scores. And the talk was how to implement security in your DevOps pipeline. It's really what people want to understand. I had a lean canvas exercise with Brian Dawson on Friday, and we decided to try to really talk about what we do without saying software supply chain. And the term that we kept coming up with was DevSecOps. So the primary audience for this are the CISO office, security engineers, and DevOps engineers. Security engineers are out there defining all these tools, and DevOps engineers are being asked to figure out how to automate it. So I would say that those would be our personas. CISO, or what we want to call anybody who works for the information security office, and DevOps engineers. I don't think we're really worried about developers. We're not worried about managers in this area, but we do want to do outreach to DevOps engineers and security engineers. So I've been working on this, trying to really target our primary audience. And I believe that the DevSecOps, it best describes what we are doing. It's a collection of DevSecOps intelligence. So I think that the name should reference both security and development.
Yes, got it. I think because the primary purpose of today's call is that we need to define the target audience and the event objective. That is the primary audience. But I think I can rewind it back up in the little bit here. because this is our first call for the Microservices Visionary Summit. We can change the name later for this event. So basically,
Absolutely.
yes, absolutely. So basically, this is the page is very important for all of us if we wanted to actually have a good conference. Is basically my thinking was we opening up a CFP for the first week of March. So the first call we will be actually having, the next call will be on the first week of March when the CFP is open. Then we actually define the objective of the event and the topics for the event. And then basically all the people who actually attending the call today will be reaching out to their connections regarding the CFP opens. Because we will, and that's one of the call. The next is when we have a CFP close and everybody's submitting a talk, then we need a place where we can actually schedule the event, Tracy. So we
Okay.
might need to have some website or something that we can actually show this is the event, or even we can do it on the website of the
Yeah,
micro.
I do that, for most of the time, that we can put on our website.
Sure.
And I can
So
reach out to the CD Foundation to help us with getting the message out too. They're always happy to do that.
so that will be on the Ortelius website. Okay.
Yeah.
Ortelius website. So that is basically we try to figure out, but I think this will be in the first week of April because the CFP will be closing on first week of April, and that is going. So first week of March, we will be opening up a CFP. Then the going forward, the event flow will be executed. So next call, I think need to have some question.
So my question was usually when I have seen the CFP opened, a lot of the time the tracks, the objectives, etc., is already documented. It's already published, and then CFP, when you open the call for participation, it basically just marketing because all the other things like objective of the conference, name of the conference, etc., have already been laid out.
Yeah, we're going to have to get that decided before the event. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yes, I
Well,
think like this.
even before you go out with the CFP.
Yes, exactly.
I think what's happening is if we are opening a CFP in March 1st, let's say, then we need to update a website with all the things what is this conference is for, just for a very small sentences, what this conference is for, what is the name of it, when it is happening, how is it happening, and what are the different tracks for who are the people who submit the talk. So basically track with something like this. So platform engineering, I think this become a DevSecOps, DevOps, and then there are a few names that Tracy will put out. So this information will be in the
Whoa,
website.
don't let me do that. I think we should, as a team, just start coming up with some interesting names. But I do
Yeah.
think that we should, there's an area I think that's a gap in the market in terms of coming up with a mind share between the DevOps engineers and the security engineers. And I believe that our goal should be, how do we get them talking? How do we get them sharing information? I struggle with this between the OpenSSF and the CDF all the time. The security people sometimes, they're so focused on, we got to get, provenance. They don't think about how to automate it or what to do with the data. So let's just play right now because we don't have a lot of time. So we're going to have to push ourselves to get this stuff really pulled together. Let's just play with some names.
Good.
Let's just throw them out there. Let's just throw stuff against the wall. Don't be afraid to make it, and we'll come up with something. DevSecOps Con, let's say. I'm just going to write them down. Come on.
Alien SecOps.
What was
Alien
it?
SecOps.
Alien SecOps. I love that. I love that. Keep going, everybody. Just come up
Like
with
this,
stuff.
this is the one is actually happening, Tracy, with the same name and somewhere
Oh, there
else.
is? Okay, well, let's just get some stuff out there. Let's not worry about, anything else.
Well, Roy in the chat put in DevSecOps intelligence.
Okay.
And then another one that came in, secure chain.
That is
Ooh.
ChatGPT suggestion.
Ooh, that's
To be
good.
honest.
ChatGPT
No
should
way,
do
it's
that.
ChatGPT. Classic.
Secure chain, securing supply chain microservices conference. Yeah.
Securing, I love that actually. Securing microservice. What was it? Securing microservices?
Securing supply chain microservices conference. Yeah, I think it's too long, so you can remove the supply chain probably, but yeah.
If we're not
Securing
interested in developers, we can
microservices
just drop
supply
the
chain.
dev and just call it SecOps.
That's why I liked Alien SecOps. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, there's no dev in there.
It's okay because dev implies that we want to go after the development teams. Really, a DevOps engineer is really somebody who sits in between development and operations,
Platforms,
right?
like Tracy,
Yeah, but companies
platform-
don't get that. That's why I like the dropping of the name.
So
Yeah, I
here's
think it's
two
great.
more. Jin had DevSecOps Connect.
Ooh, you guys are great.
Say that again, what was that
Then
one?
Roy had Gremlin SecOps.
What was it?
Gremlin.
Gremlin SecOps.
Gremlin.
That's great. That just reminds me of that old movie.
Yep.
With the Mogwai.
Yeah.
These are fabulous, you guys. You guys are amazing to come up with this fast.
Jing's got DevSecOps Fusion. This is
what's
a cool-
everyone thoughts on
How about DevOps Guardian?
That's also cool. Guardians of the SecOps Galaxy. Is that what you're
I was going to say Guardians of DevOps.
There you go.
I like Guardians of DevOps.
Guardian of the Galaxy.
Bringing in the sci-fi, it doesn't hurt because it really defines who we are. That's why I liked Alien SecOps.
Look how many options. Now we got to choose from all the options now. Now we got another problem.
Hey, this is a good problem to have.
It's a good problem, yeah.
Well, we can send out a quick form to vote on it, so that's easy.
I think I can
Next one is DevSecOps Fusion from Jin.
That's awesome, man. I'm speechless at how good you guys are at this. We have the right people on the call. I like the concept of fusion because, as I just indicated, that I feel like there needs to be some kind of meeting of the minds between these two very diverse groups. In other words, we have people who are creating security tools and people who are implementing them. We are implementers of security tools. Ortelius is not about creating new security tools. We're about implementation and gathering the data.
The other one you could do is something, it's a little bit long, but security for developers. If you want to get the developers in here. Roy has the next one, DevSecOps Forge.
Ooh.
I think Roy
that sounds cool.
is a bot. I think it's a ChatGPT bot that we have in here. Thank you, Microsoft and Roy.
So these are all good, and honestly, catchy titles are important, but something I put in the chat, we've got to tell people why they should attend. What do I get if I come to this? As opposed to spending the day watching, YouTube videos or something. And once we've got that, I think a lot of the rest becomes easier.
Okay, so why attend? Let me just write down what I would say about why attending without trying to do it through ChatGPT, which is always much better. I think we would say something about bringing together the experience of both, 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 DevOps engineers, and security engineers will be the key to forwarding, a bad word, forwarding the effort of securing the software supply chain. This conference brings together security and DevOps professionals to have a meeting of the minds, share insights, and learn from one another what is needed
I'll change that. Learn from one another. The
on
challenge.
both. Okay, just needed on both sides of the house.
Yeah, I would change that last part. Learn from each other, the challenges and solutions.
Okay, that implies we'll have dialogue among the attendees as opposed to presentations.
Okay, the conference then shares presentations from both sides,
Mm-hmm.
from security and DevOps professionals, in order for learning what do they call it? Cross training or cross,
Okay.
I'll just say
I
cross training for
usually
now.
like to put something in that says attendees will take away something.
Okay, but we could really work on the
There's a one question on my side for these two things as well, Tracy, Steve, and everyone. It's like, what is the cross collaboration we can bring for this event? Because DevOps and if you go into the platform engineering communities, and that is my currently what I'm actually noticing. If you go into the platform engineering community, they literally don't like the word DevOps. And if you go into the supply chain security communities, they don't have solutions outside the security umbrella. So is it a possibility, because in the platform engineering world, people don't have solution or standard or practices for security practitioners? Is there a way Ortelius or us can bring or actually create a conjunction point between platform engineers and security professionals?
okay. I'm just going to do this for now. We can work on it, but I'm trying to take. Okay, so this would be somewhere, there's a ton of wordsmithing that has to be done with all this. But in terms of what we are, if we were to pull this together, think about a handshake, think about having talks in two tracks, one that's security and one that's DevOps. And the one in security would be, what are the most important tools you should add to your security process? And the second one would be tracks on how to add DevOps security to your DevOps pipeline, whether it be Jenkins. And another one would be, what is the kind of data we would want? So we would have at least two tracks. We'd have a security track. We'd have, we'll just call it supply chain security. We'd have a DevOps. We may even have a DevSecOps track. And we could possibly have just a cloud native challenge, securing cloud native application challenges. So those would be my suggestions. And again, we'll leave this open and we'll do some wordsmithing on this as a team.
Like, Steve and Sasha, what is actually we're using mostly in the Ortelius side? What are the tool we're using internally in Ortelius? Some third-party tools.
Wait,
Well,
say that again. What?
yeah, well, we use
Third-
everything from like SIFT to SPDX and Cyclone to cosine in Toto. So we have a bunch of different tools that we utilize besides Ortelius itself. So Ortelius uses Ortelius itself.
Oh, so I
Um,
think, are we using Gripe as well?
No, we don't use Gripe. We use other ones. We use OSV Dev, which is a vulnerability database.
So what we have listed is SIFT, OSV Dev, SonarCube, Veracode, NECICD, Swagger, Door Metrics, and deployment engines.
Yeah.
And I think that there's some missing. I know that Steve has a task to update me on things that are missing. Like I think we use some of the chain guard open source tools, like I think it's called AppCo.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's also base images and stuff. So if you get really low level into the weeds, we use SigStore base images.
Well, we need to get in the weeds so people can see it. Yeah, so we still have some we have to update, but we are trying to keep them up there in the on the front page of the website.
Okay, got it. The reason I'm asking this
So-
question is like, is Steve, like, do you think, I think like Chain Guard, Wolfie, APKO, Melange, and Swift, and bunch of other tools we named today, I think they live under the umbrella of compliance and governance.
I don't know. Some of them do. So what's happening is a lot of these tools just do one little function, and they spit out some data, but you can't do nothing actionable with that data really.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's not get too far from our goal here. Let's go back up to let's just talk about these two. We just came up with some fun names. We came up with a couple of tracks, and we came up with a why attend. As Tony indicated, let's figure out if the why attend is something that we believe is what we want to pursue. Is everybody okay with my premise that it feels right to have a conversation that is specific to both DevOps and securing the software supply chain, and how to bring together this conversation? Or should we be pursuing something outside of that? What's everybody's thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like that.
Does anybody have a strong disagreement with it? That's probably the best way to do it. Sometimes if you have a strong disagreement, you may be seeing something that we're not. So for example, here's one thing that we have that we're not doing in these initial names. I'll just be my own devil's advocate. So while I love all of these names, none of them really have any reference to a cloud native architecture, which is, except for this secure chain, Securing Supply Chain Microservice Conference. Because that secure chain could be the name of it, and Securing Supply Chain Microservice Conference could be a tagline. Do we need to include the cloud native discussion in the name of the conference, and should it be in the why attend? So bringing together experience of both DevOps engineers and security engineers working in decoupled environments or cloud native environments, right? Because that's kind of our sweet spot, is the ability to track all these massive dependencies across clusters.
I think like this word is important, cloud native environment, because a lot of the tooling we're using internally in Ortelius, they come from the cloud native space. Like the SigStore, all the stuff we're actually using internally, they come from the cloud native space. And the speaker, I believe we will be, me and you will be actually pinging for this conference. They live in the cloud native space. So I think it would be good to have it, but I think other person can actually make an argument if you add cloud native word, then the people think this conference is just for Kubernetes and basically the living.
Bingo. Yes, I mean, that is constantly our challenge, right? Is to make sure we don't get somebody to say, well, you're doing cloud native, but you're not doing anything on how to secure Kubernetes. And that's not our business. We are really securing components that people are consuming across our supply chain.
Yes.
So we like the CIA.
Yes, we are. We're watching every individual person.
We're essential
Can't
intelligence agency for the cloud. So we are.
can't we have something like DevSecOps Architecture Gathering Day?
What
So
was it?
that we can
DevSecOps?
of Architecture Gathering Day,
Architecture.
Gathering Day.
and in the bracket DAG, DAY, gathering.
Architecture Gathering Day, Tracy.
And
DAGD.
yeah, or
That day.
DAG Day. Yes.
Wait, what?
Or
I'll get it. I know it.
Like,
we can change day by summit or conference, so it will be DAG summit or DAG conference, something like that.
So I noticed one thing. The why attend is more like what the conference will do. I think what
yes.
Tony mentioned, the key takeaway to me might guide the conference title as well as, what the conference will do or the tracks. So I think we should still be very crisp, working backwards on who do we want to attend and what we want them to walk away with. So I guess it's DevOps engineers and SecOps engineers and CISO. So they should walk away with what? A good understanding of challenges or silos that exist in solving this problem of actionable intelligence while developing microservices in cloud native environment with fragmented solutions like these. I'm just, based on all the conversation, just regurgitating what my thoughts are, but I think just writing that key takeaway that what do we want people to walk away with help us guide in the titles and the tracks and other things.
I would say the key takeaway we may want to focus on is how to automate security in the DevOps pipeline in cloud native environments.
Automate security in DevOps pipeline. Okay. And how are we different? I'm just wondering, like X-ray and Twistlock and all those who are in this space, how are we different?
Are you talking about the tooling?
Yes. Or is this maybe I'm just not aware, like how are we? Because there are already a lot of players in this DevSecOps world who.
There's a lot of players in the security side. I don't know how many players have really named themselves DevSecOps. There's tools that they fall into application security tooling like X-ray, or what they oftentimes call software composition analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And we consume that information, right? And if you haven't already, so there could be we could have somebody do a class on implementing X-ray into your pipeline, right? Or how to automate a scorecard task. So in terms of a product, we are again consuming intelligence that's gathered across the pipeline.
Okay.
We are not trying to generate it ourselves. We want to consume it, aggregate it, and then start doing threat modeling around it.
Okay.
Just one thing, sorry to interrupt anybody. So I'm sharing a screen with you for one of the event I'm actually a co-chair with. That's called Multi-Tenancy Gone. So usually, as Tony said, you have why we attend the conference. So I think we only use very small paragraphs not a very full lengthy. It's just a 3-4 liner, so able to grasp correctly. Let me know what's your thinking about this wording, and is it a message clear to you, like what this event is for?
It's for people who want to
in
use
my
a
why
vacuum
attend,
cleaner in the cloud. We vacuum here for everything. I can't stop getting that image out of my head, is the vacuum cleaner analogy.
it's better than using the term sucking up security intelligence.
Beam me up.
So this
Yes, we
event,
beam up security intelligence. Exactly. We beam up DevOps and security intelligence.
Exactly.
yeah.
So,
So this,
Tracy, can you look at my screen? I am sharing the multi-tenancy con page with you. So basically,
Okay.
a page would look something similar to this. So I try to understand, because we're using a wording, but that wording should be around 3 to 4, 5 liners, not beyond, because it's too much to consume. So people come up, they can get confused. Oh, there's so much stuff here going on. I try to do it like similar to this page. So is it
Yeah,
this?
I mean, let's not think that the wording I have in this document is going to look anything like the final wording. Let's just make sure we're getting the essence of it. And then we can, I can run it through this. I can steal stuff, if you want to pass that over to me right now.
One thing I can actually tell people on the call is like what I'm seeing. If you do an event, like we are the Ortelius community people, everybody know us from the Ortelius. So usually when the community of the open source project do an event on something, they usually try to intersect with the people of the tooling they use. So they literally, let's say if the ArgoCon or a Flux or Linkerd or Istio Service Mesh or Kubernetes or there are KEDA. So those community will be very, very opinionated with their wording. Like this event is for GitOps, this event is for Service Mesh. And our event is mostly, as Stacy said, DevOps and security engineers. We try to highlight in a wording on a why attend. These are the tooling we will be using internally, and these is the practices or architecture God will bring into the table as well. Because what's your thoughts on Tracy on this?
I mean, I think that we absolutely need to look at how some of these other conferences have been worded once we understand who we really want to do outreach to. In terms of being able to say this is going to be specific around a product, it should be around Ortelius. In fact, one of our tracks should be, tips and tricks for Ortelius. And the keynote should be around what's new, what the team's doing with Ortelius. We probably should have a call on, what the team's doing with personas and building out the potential workflows for threat models. So I think it should be around Ortelius, but we have to, I think, align, like you said, to a bigger catchphrase. And that's why I go back to DevSecOps.
Yes, I think like one thing I try to call out as well, because based on some previous event, I created, look at the YouTube videos and look at the different other conferences. I created a list of the topic to consider for this event. So if anybody can able to write down some of the things they have in their mind, the list of the topic to consider for the event, based on these things, we can create a why attend section and the event name once we have this thing in place, because that should be from different people mind.
Yeah, that those work. I think any of those topics would be appropriate, right? And I noticed that you do have in your topics, you have a lot about securing microservices. And so that's why I say if we go back to, let's go back up to, scroll back up, yeah, or wherever I was writing
Tracks.
The tracks, and further up would be the why attend. And I think this is the point from Neetu and Tony is to get this down. Why would you attend this as opposed to other conferences? Hey, Sime, can you bring up do you know of a DevSecOps conference that we could look at how they described what they do?
Yes, I think there are multiple of them. Like
Why-
they
do-
actually use
Could you bring one up? Could you find one and bring one up and share it, and share it?
Yes, I think I need to check. There's happening one of the event. This is called
Even if it's something happened in 2023, we can look at something old.
2023 is called about DevSecOn. This
So
is
I
the
have a
word.
hard stop in 15 minutes, even though you guys can continue on.
So this is the word they're actually using. But I know there's happen. This is powered by Sneak.
That is a good one, you know.
So we're interesting in this section actually.
Okay, yeah, stop right there. What is DevSecCon? A community consisting of conferences and events dedicated to the bleeding edge of secure development. So I would feel like I would be a developer coming to this conference, right?
Yes, absolutely, because this is powered by Sneak, a scanning tool and bunch of other stuff they have.
But Sneak is not necessarily a developer tool, it's more of a SecOps tool.
I would think so too.
But they
So this would be a good one to pursue. This would be a good one to look at some of their wording and to see how they do it. And again, I don't want to have everybody on the call. We can share this.
another we have who attend the DevSecCon.
Who wants to refine their approach to secure development and delivery.
And also they
that's
highlight, as you said, platform, sysadmin, architecture, engineer, analyst, CSIOs, apps expert, project manager, everyone.
And it is sort of true, right? There are a lot of personas involved in securing their DevSecOps tool chain, which includes developers, security professionals, agile practitioners, you know, product innovation managers, which is actually me, you know, pen testers and all that. I think we are very close to it. We probably just need to wordsmith this
We
conference.
just need, yeah, this was not a meeting to do wordsmithing on. And but I think it's good to start capturing thoughts. And, whoever, Simon, is that document shared to everybody?
Yes, let me know, people, if somebody have trouble accessing it.
Yeah, try to get to share that link and let's make sure everybody click on it. Make sure you can edit it so that we can start doing some shared wordsmithing.
Yes. I shared in the Discord as well, so people can share their ideas as well. I can actually add some of the example conference on the.
Perfect. So I think that because we have such a tight deadline according to the schedule here, I feel like we have a meeting on next Monday at the same time, right? It's our outreach meeting. Let's make sure that the discussion is only about this. And the name, and we should have the name down, we should have the why attend down, and we need to have the key takeaways down.
Yes,
We
good.
should attend.
And track is also, if somebody wants to add more stuff in the track.
And on that, I hate to make it I have to go, but I do have to, jump on another call here.
No worries, Tracy. I think I shared the link with the Discord as well. I can share in the chat again if somebody
Yeah, share it in Discord. Just make sure that you shared it to the Ortelius Dev community when you do the share.
Ortelius Dev channel. Yes, let me do. I shared on the journal channel as well. Let me do it again. And then Julius added some very good thoughts in the chat as well.
And I want to re-emphasize, when we work on these documents, don't be afraid to go ahead and throw it out there. Just if you get motivated and you're like, I'm going to just work on this, go ahead and throw it out there, and we'll work together on it. And or you just make comments. Either way is fine, but don't be afraid to actually go ahead and if you want to just take the paragraph and say, here is Nitu's version and write what you think, that's fine too. And I would say that we should probably on the titles, if there's names that you really like, just put a +1 at the end of them.
Yes, that would be great.
So for example, I like, I think that this secure chain is kind of a fun one. That's why I bolded it, but I'll make it not bold anymore. And I would put a +1 here. And we're going to make it an effort that we have to have this finalized by the time we end our call next Monday, that this is done, that we know that we have a name, we have why attend, and we have the key takeaways and who we're targeting.
Yes, absolutely. So I actually added a date as well. Some random dates we need to capture for. So basically, I think is happening on May 24. So I try to make a CFP open for 1 month.
Perfect. That's fine. And in the meantime, as soon as we get this stuff out, I'll reach out to Roxanne and let her know that what we're doing, and she may be able to let the people know that did not get accepted for the CDCon that they could submit their talks to here, or find it and sessionize and go ahead and submit it. And on that, I have to jump. So I'm going to end the recording. Oops. Oh, it's just recording on its own. So thank you everybody for the help today. This was awesome. You guys are amazing. And we will chat on Monday.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful
Bye.
day.
Bye.
Bye.